It's very big for a theater, but it's a very cool venue.
Anyway, I finished watching and I watched many things that were fantastic. Like there's an artist, Australian artist, Richard Clapton, and I was watching many things, Peter Allen things, and because the YouTube's unreal because people put stuff up that you just wouldn't see unless you went, you were looking at that stuff. And anyway, that particular one stood out to me, but the performance was just fantastic.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of which, Wayne, we are now live on YouTube as well, with billions and billions and billions of video being put up on YouTube like every second. I think so. We're one of a billion, So don't think you're that special. That's all I could say.
I'm certainly not special. The opposite of that.
you know. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome again. 250, what is it, 265 consecutive shows. Here we are once again, thinking out loud with friends of SoundBroker. Of course, the name has changed to protect the innocent over the years, but basically we're having a great time. And just remember, everything you hear today is an opinion. So anyway, what else do we got on our minds? I got a bunch of things that are going on around. Greg sent me something in the mail, an email earlier about what China is doing, and regarding with their regarding with their with their laser space technology, right, Greg?
Yeah, it was. They have. I forget the size of the laser, but they proved that they can go ahead and knock a Starlink satellite out of orbit with it.
Well, actually, no, that's not. I read that and I didn't see that. What they're saying is that the capacity of what they could do is so much greater than what Starlink can do that basically it will make Starlink obsolete. That's basically what they were talking about. Not that they can knock it out of the air. They were just saying because they're using such minor bandwidth of a laser, a normal laser like something like the a handheld laser that you can hold in your hands. One of these things, really, really low grade laser that they're using right now, and they figured out a way of technology to get it through the Earth's atmosphere, and it's really impressive. Of course, that's something that they'll be doing, but I'm sure everybody will be copying that shortly.
Well, Greg, if you have that link, put it in the chat.
Yeah, I have it.
So you by Tampa there, Greg? This is what it's showing on mine. Yeah.
Stormy weather?
Big time. I got hail outside in the yard. So yeah.
Well, I got some news for you. Okay, here it is. I will copy it and place it in the chat. But I got some news for you. And there is a company now that just came about. Let me see if I could find it. It is called, where is it? I've got it right here. Is that it? No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it.
Well, while you're looking for it, Jan, I'd just like to say that on What the Forecast, it says, "Can someone please turn down the motherfucking sun?" My favorite weather app.
Oh, is that Carrot?
No, it's called What the Forecast. WT Forecast. It's a great app. It's always got some off-color remark on the opening page.
Yeah, I'm looking right now and I can't seem to find it. But there's a company, I think it's called, and I want to get this exact, but basically is in a company now that is offering insurance, weather insurance, flood insurance at a reasonable price because they're able to figure out the logistics of the weather before it actually happens. Let me see if I can find it. I know I made a copy of it somewhere, so let me see if I can find it. Oh well, I can't find it. I'll look and see if I can find it later. But in the meantime, Talk about something else. Talk amongst yourselves.
Hey, David, are you with your band? You're muted.
Yeah, we're with Hotel California. We hadn't worked in a couple of months, so we just took off about 5 days ago. Did a show in Appleton, Wisconsin. And then we're here in West Bend, Wisconsin for a couple of days. And then we're going to Music Fest in Milwaukee day after tomorrow. And then one more show, and then I come home for 2 days. And then I go to Flagstaff, Arizona and Laughlin, Nevada. So that should be fun.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
Laughlin.
What day are you in Flagstaff?
I was going to say, when you come back to Flagstaff, I might be able to make this one.
I'm coming in a couple of days. Oh, no, in a week. Let me tell you the date. We're at the Pacific
The Pepsi Amphitheater where you were before?
Amphitheater. It's an outdoor. Yeah, I've been there before. It's beautiful. It's in the largest pine forest in the United States. So it's like you feel like you're in Tahoe. So we're going to be in Flagstaff on the 3rd, July 3rd.
Oh,
You want to come?
I might have to try to drive up there.
Let me know. Pacific Amphitheater. It's a sound image installation.
Just so you know, Fred, you got to help load the bus.
That's
It's all
it.
right.
No
All right.
free
I'm
rides.
all good with that.
Yeah, we have to drive to Laughlin for the next day, so we're probably leaving after the gig.
Yeah, I got to come home because we got kind of a block party thing going on the 4th. So
All right, well, come up on the 3rd. It'd be great.
yeah,
How far is that for you?
2.5 hours.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to get there the night before because we're driving. The bus is driving from here. I'm flying in. But the band stays on the bus. I get to fly.
Yeah, you've got my email. Just drop me a note. What, when, where, how, why.
I don't know if I have your email.
Yeah, because you sent me that list from before.
Okay, well then I have your
Well,
email.
don't put it out on the. Don't say it now.
No, I'm
Wait,
not saying it now.
put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, David, if you want.
Yeah.
Fred at ilovespam.com.
Yes, I love, and you got to be careful right now. There is so much spam out there. Boy, is there a lot of spam.
Tell me about it.
So if anybody's interested, I just posted Norte High School 1 and 2, the 2 short videos on what we did out there at the high school. And I got to run. I got to go hit some dinner. So
All right, well, have a good time. Enjoy. Eat
Love you
something
guys.
great.
Wait, Bruce.
I'm
See
sorry.
you, Bruce.
Yeah, take care, you guys.
Yeah, Bruce.
See you next week. Bye.
Speaking
All right.
speaking of, today I'm a little bit slow, and I got food poisoning last night, and it was my own fault that I got food poisoning. We went to this really nice Mexican restaurant, and they have a salsa bar. And so I went over to the salsa bar, and they had these cucumbers, and they were really nice looking cucumbers, but they had red dots all over the cucumber. And I just, I tasted one, didn't taste spicy at all. And so I had a couple, and then my wife, saw that I liked them, so she got me another plate of them, and I ate the whole thing. Well, it turns out this was some sort of form of cayenne pepper, and the way they had seasoned it, you couldn't taste the cayenne pepper. So last night at about 11 o'clock, all of a sudden my heart started to race as if it was going to beat out of my chest and I started sweating. It was, oh my God, it was horrible. And I couldn't sleep all night. And so today I slept all day and I'm still not over it. I just don't feel like has anybody had that happen to them?
No.
No, there it is. What
Well,
the hell?
I ate too many Tim Tams, so I've got cookie stomach this morning. Is that the
Yep.
same thing?
I guess.
I-
I don't know.
I ate the whole packet. Do you get Tim Tams?
I have
over
no
there?
idea.
Do you get Tim Tams?
I have no idea.
They're big chocolate pickies.
Yeah.
Very, very tasty chocolate cookies.
So
Hey,
anyway,
David,
I read it. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just
I
going to
can't-
ask David, Has the young bandmates got the Switch 2 yet? You know how they love their handhelds, the toys? No, I guess you didn't hear me. So go ahead, Jan. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I don't know. You're not interrupting me. You're not interrupting me. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about anymore right now. But basically, I'm trying to find that article for you, Greg, because basically it's discounted flood insurance for Florida, and I cannot. I would have sworn that I had put it. Copied it and put it into my notes to talk about it, but I can't seem to find it. So I'm looking in the background while I to see it, but I can't even find it in the background. I just got too much junk here in my mail to find anything. And of course, who knows when it came in or if I even deleted it. So then that way, So let's move on to something that I do know, and that is let's talk about a company by the name of Live Nation. So Live Nation, just an FYI, Live Nation will invest $1 billion to build new and revitalized live music venues across the United States over the next 18 months. They just announced it. According to a study by, okay, somebody is talking over me right now. And so let me mute everybody. So anyway, where was I? Okay, so then here's where the venues are going to be: Seattle, Portland, Denver. I can't read that. Shakopee? Is there Shakopee? It's like next to. It's in Minnesota, I believe. Milwaukee, Indianapolis, Memphis, Nashville, Birmingham, Orlando, Atlanta, Raleigh, Richmond, Virginia Beach, Pittsburgh, Allentown, and Portland. That is a lot of building. What do you guys think about that?
They own so many venues now.
Yeah, they say it'll spur $2.9 billion in economic impact into the communities that they're there, with 1.4 billion in annual impact once the venues are all online. Wow, that is a ton of money.
Yeah, and they get to keep 80% of it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they're paying something for the properties and for the gear that they're putting it in. I mean, hey, they keep money. I mean, look at not everybody is how do I put this? Not everybody enjoys in the wealth aspect of it, but we're all following what's going on with AI. And Sam Altman, for example, he just offered his AI staffs $100 million in bonuses. I wonder if he thinks he's Taylor Swift. I don't know. That's a lot of money.
Well, I think everybody can appreciate that when somebody's spending money on the industry that we work in and love, and I think that, well, for myself, I won't speak for anybody else, but I'm certainly skeptical of monopolistic companies that are running the industry that we all work in and love. So
Yeah, for sure.
Let's put it that way.
Hey, Greg, I got good news. I found the article.
Yay.
Here it is. I'll read it. Affordability of flood-based flood insurance. Parametric flood insurance powered by FloodBase is designed to be more affordable and accessible than traditional flood insurance, especially in high-risk or underserved areas. Special factors contribute to its affordability. Lower premiums through efficiency. Parametric policies eliminate the need for costly adjusters and minimize litigation, significantly reducing administrative expenses for insurers. And these savings are reflected in lower risk premiums for policyholders. So basically, yeah, it's going to be available in Florida. and they have flexible use of payouts. And so, hey, it's called flood-based flood insurance. So you might want to check that out, Greg.
Well, luckily, I chose my place carefully. I'm at I'm not in any floodplain according to the maps. So the only time I would have to evacuate is due to wind. And but flood, yeah, I mean, literally 2 miles from my house, they got 3.5 foot of water last year from Hurricane Milton. So that's good, and insurance is one of the biggest costs of living in Florida right now. As a matter of fact, the Tampa Bay area, last 2 years, according to Zillow, was one of the hottest real estate markets in the United States. This year, there's more people leaving Tampa and going to places like Tennessee or the Northwest or than are coming in. So, and our real estate market is stalled. So,
well, that's good for me if I decide to move to Florida. So my question to you is in regards to that, in the Tampa area, what airport do they have, and how is that an easy airport to fly around the world from?
Yeah, TPA. It's one of the best airports in the world, as a matter of fact. Yeah, the one thing about Tampa is you're a hop, skip, and a jump from you're a 40-minute plane ride from Atlanta, okay, which is one of the major hubs in the United States. You gotta like Delta if you're flying in the South, unless you're a budget carrier. And God bless you if you have the patience to put up with all the nitpicking charges and all the self-entitled people that on a regular basis get zip tied and drug out of aircraft, on Spirits and Frontiers for whatever reason.
Welcome to Thinking Out Loud with Friends with SoundBroker, and remember, everything here today is an opinion. It's a good opinion.
And do your own research, yes.
And by the way, do your own research. But one thing, you mentioned Atlanta, and that brings me to Waymo, just launched in Atlanta. So now they are going to be having driverless Uber cars. They're working with Uber. This week, it's the 5th major city, just over competitor Tesla, who's got the robo-taxis in Austin. But anyway, Waymo is a part of the Google network. So anyway, if anybody gets there, has anybody ridden in an autonomous driving car?
No.
No, not yet. Well,
my question is, are you allowed to burn your Waymo after you take your ride, like in LA?
Don't
I
think
did
so.
see on
Don't
the
think
news
so.
that some people thought so, Wayne, but
too soon? Sorry.
yeah.
Speaking of burning, I read an article, and this really freaked me out of all the articles that I read. Right now, it seems that cigarette smoking is making a resurgence with young kids, with teenagers. Did you guys hear about this?
No.
It's like unbelievable.
Because I've heard that alcohol use is way down amongst young people.
So now they've decided it's a good time for them to smoke. And basically a single cigarette contains more than 7,000 chemicals, 69 of them which are known to cause cancer. And smoking contributes to 1 in 5 deaths in the US, and it just doesn't affect the lungs. But the question is why would these kids decide that they want to smoke? Next question. Okay.
Because they think they're immortal, as we all did when we were young, and some things never change.
Hey, that's it. Some things never do change. One thing. Hey, Kurt, you're in the room now, right? you missed the story that I wanted to tell you about offline, but now that you're online, Live Nation is building a venue in Seattle. I don't know if you know that, but you might want to get in on that as quickly as possible.
Well, I know about some things. Do you have any more specifics to see if it's the same thing I already know about?
I'll repeat the story. Live Nation will invest $1 billion to build 18 new revitalized live music venues across the United States, and Seattle is one of the cities.
Interesting. I've heard rumor to that effect, but it's interesting. Where's the article?
Polestar. I'll tell you what, I will put it into the chat for you so that you could have it, and you could read it on your own. There you go. And it is done. There it is. So I just thought I'd share that with you. So also another thing, sharing with you guys about information that's has to do with our industry. The Allen and Heath is having a seminar where they're going to be basically teaching people. It's called the Allen and Heath University. And they're going to be having sessions in Miami, Tampa. Miami is yesterday. Tampa is tomorrow, the 26th. Atlanta is on July 8th. Knoxville, Tennessee, July 10th. Birmingham, Alabama, July 15th. And Memphis, July 17th. So that is what they're doing. It's going to be D-Live certification, in-person seminars. So if you're interested, I will also throw that link in the chat for you guys. You know, just a little bit of information there. So I haven't just been sitting around doing nothing, you know, trying to find only the best stories for you guys that we could discuss in peace and harmony. So what else is going on? Anybody need any eye surgery? Well, that leads me into my next story. Your next eye surgeon might be a robot. So, Foresight Robotics said Tuesday it raised 125 million bucks, and basically it'll be able to do your eye surgery for you. So guys can do it from anywhere in the world. They hook you up to the machine. It's full robotic surgery, and such as retina repairs, glaucoma treatments, and what have you. So it's supposedly the next cutting edge of medical science right there. So there you have it.
You know what's interesting, if you guys recall, I had cataract surgery a couple months ago, and I finally got in what they charge. They only charged me $250 an eye, which was nice. But they charged.
How many eyes did you have done? 4, 5?
Yeah, just two, just a pair.
Okay.
They charged my insurance company $14,000 an eye. So
well, it doesn't work that way. They could put whatever they want on paper, but the insurance company will pay X amount of dollars based on their contract. But it looks like a lot of money.
Well, it's a hell of a lot more money than I had.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad. Now, how can you see now? How did it work?
Far great. You know, I had a choice to go $250 an eye or $4,000 an eye. $4,000 an eye. I wouldn't have to wear these glasses for close up. Okay.
For $4,000 an eye, I would guess if you shut your eyes, you'd be able to see pornography for free.
Well,
that would it.
Well, my comment to them when they said, "Well, it's $4,000 an eye," and I said, "Am I going to look like Geordie LaForge? You know, by the time y'all are done?" I mean, really, for all those Star Trek.
What happens is you don't need reading glasses for about 5 years, and then you do. So it's 5 years of perfect vision, and then slowly but surely you start to need reading glasses. And that's it. Myrna did it, and she was happy about it, but she's wearing reading glasses now. Yeah. So that time is up.
You want to hear something very interesting? I have reverse I forget what they call it. I think they call it reverse eye movement. Whereas I used to need glasses to see far and I could read. Now I need glasses to read, but I could see far.
That's normal.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah,
I never knew I was
that's
normal. Thank you.
Or you weren't
Yeah,
until you had your eyes done.
Say again? No, I never had my eye. I mean, I had cosmetic surgery on my eyes because of my upper eyelid was drooping, and I was having trouble seeing. So I got my eyes done for that reason. And if you believe that, I have another story as well that I could tell you. But that was what the doctor said, and I said, yeah, all right, if insurance will cover that, you know. But actually, in reality, I had it done in Brazil from a friend of mine, a doctor, but did a great job. You know, that was what, 20 something years ago, and I've never, you know, one of the things they say is sometimes the fat tissues grow back, but in my case, I was lucky they never grew back. So, um, it was you know, I don't like, for whatever reason, my eyes I'm very protective of my eyes. I have two fears. One is the fear of my eyes, and the other one is the fear of claustrophobia. Those, of course, well, now that I'm talking fears, I also have a fear of snakes biting me. But other than that, pretty good, pretty good. So anyway, everything's good.
Yep. Gregory, I wanted to hear your thoughts on the show at the Sphere.
Well, one could say that Robert's career took a full circle.
Yeah.
And what can I say as a youngster in the industry? It was very impressive the moment I walked in. Both me and Ken Newman, Ken was also there that day. We had this impression when we were displaying the graphics that, whoa, is this place moving around us? Are we stable? So that was quite interesting that it can actually trick you a little bit with your sensory receivers. Robert mix was on point, and I was very impressed on how little distances could make a difference. Ken was at the front of the house at some point and said, hey, stand on this pelican case. Robert said, this is when the sound really comes alive. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I actually stood on the pelican case, which is, I don't know, not even a foot tall. And indeed, it did change a lot. And then you walk down from the front of the house, left and right, and the dynamics of the low end changes completely. So that was very interesting. The band performed very well. There's no questions here. But yes, I was impressed overall. It's definitely an insane human feat to achieve that goal. And it cannot be described other than buy a ticket and go see a show to witness what's happening there. I also was lucky enough to speak to the front of house engineer, the house engineer, Amy, who was very kind to invite me behind the house desk. I've been told not to take any pictures, and I didn't. Obviously, I didn't. And yeah.
Why do you think they said to you not to take any pictures? That would say, what was there such proprietary information that you would have been able to?
There's only one console of the type in the world. And the whole control package for this system is so far protected as a intelligence knowledge, I assume. Although they are building a new one in Dubai, apparently. So they will duplicate that construction. But they just asked me not to take any pictures, and they said the security was paying attention to people who would just come with the camera and try to,
Yeah.
But at the same time, Amy and Ken and I have a picture in front of it, and nobody paid attention to that. So it was great, and I think Robert, Ken and I were talking later about that, and Ken said, I think Robert really appreciates the fact that we do make an effort and visit him at the show and support him. I think it means a lot to him. So it was a very cool experience to be there and to support him and show him that we care for his achievement, and also giving back to him, inviting us to see him there and sharing with everything that he has and he's learned. So very, very nice trip. Loved it. Yeah, go see a show.
It's an insane place to mix from. When you have to stand on a case to be able to see the stage.
That's another thing. Yeah,
it's insane. I mean, the whole show. I'm standing there looking at him, and I'm going, "You can't see the stage." And he's like, "No, look, I have this case right here." And he stands up on it. Oh, okay. How do you mix a show without being able to see the band? It's just weird.
Well, it's all video. I mean, he's seeing it in video. I mean, I didn't see the show, but it seems pretty impressive. By the way, Greg, I heard you had it. I heard that you had an encounter with what? How could I bet? Somebody infamous in Las Vegas. Maybe.
Oh, you lost your microphone.
Meet in Las Vegas.
Oh, look at this fella. Yeah. That was a nice restaurant, by the way.
Yeah, well, thank you. I had nothing to do with it, except I was there. But no, it was interesting to get together. You know, it was very, very interesting to get together and spend some time with you, although it was limited because you were on the way back. But I do really appreciate you stopping. And then, of course, you know, unfortunately, I had missed you because after you left, and I had dinner. I ended up going over to the Westgate, where I got to hang out with Robert. That's Will and Kenny Newman. So I got a chance to hang out with those guys too. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, and then I was very lucky to be privy to, because I was there. We went downstairs after the show, and Robert got a chance to meet Barry's band, and they were very, 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 very interested in what he had done, because some of them had seen the show, Kenny Chesney show, and they had a lot of questions. And Robert was just magnanimous in answering all the questions.
He always is. And we actually grabbed lunch the day after Kenny's show, and we had a very, very good chat about life, traveling, sports, relationships, and just, it was just amazing time. We finally got to share our life stories, because in the past we would meet each other on the gigs, and this time we finally had an opportunity to share a meal together and tell a few stories. So
now, who was this you had lunch? Who was this you had lunch with?
With Robert.
Oh, Robert.
At the sushi place that somebody recommended to us. I think you recommended that sushi place.
He went back to Yama Sushi.
Yeah.
My God, it's funny. It was one of those places. I said to him, Robert, I'm going to take you someplace, but I can guarantee you that you're going to be back. This is one of those places when you take somebody you got to take them back to this place, because it's just one of those things. And sure enough, he went back the next day. That's crazy.
Tell me where this place is, as I always go to Osaka.
No, there's nothing like the Yama Sushi. It's a YAMA Sushi. It's on the corner of Maryland and Flamingo. It's in an old shopping center, and it is all you could eat for like $20, $25, all you could eat. And they have amazing rolls and amazing fish. Everything's fresh, straight from the desert, where it is very fresh, But no, all kidding aside, I don't know how they do it, but they really do a great job.
Like Mead Sushi? I've been to Osaka before, Fred. That's a good place.
Osaka's awesome. I've been there.
And I'm not even that big of a sushi guy, but Osaka's really good.
Yeah, every time
I've been to Osaka, but I'll put up Yama Sushi for any. Yama Sushi is you'll never know who you're going to meet there. It's one of those places, and they don't have pictures on the wall of people that have come there. They do not have pictures up on the wall. But I can tell you that almost everybody of anybody has eaten there. It's one of those places where the food is so good that you have to go back. So anyway,
I don't get to Las Vegas as much as I used to, but because I used to go up there 3 to 5 times a year. But the last 2 years I've been out there for CES, and of course I look up on the calendar and Barry Manilow's not playing yet. They usually don't start till February or March the last few years. So I've been wanting to go over there because I discovered that the keyboard player for Barry's band, Ron Pedley, was the keyboard player for Maynard Ferguson. When I worked for Maynard Ferguson back in 1981 and 82, Ron Pedley was the keyboard player for about half of my tenure.
Wow.
So interesting. It would be fun to see him. I have seen Matt and Greg Bissonette were also with that band at that time. So I have seen them a couple of times over the years. Greg more than Matt.
Well, Ron, if you're listening, hey, let's come into the room and rekindle your love with Wayne. That's it.
So which one was it? Which one was it, Jan? There's 3 of them in Vegas.
They're all the same, but the one that I like is the one that's on Maryland and Flamingo.
1350 East Flamingo. Okay, cool.
That's got the best ambiance of it all. The other ones are much bigger. They're much more like a factory.
Well, the third one is Yama Sushi and Korean Barbecue, both together.
I'm not sure. I wonder if it's the same owners.
I don't know. It just says North Las Vegas.
Nope. Well, we'll find out, and we'll report back one day. But right now, with Ken Porter in the room, I need to ask a question because I'm sure that he will have an answer. I hear that Bonnaroo was canceled, and that they're not going to announce other dates, and they refunded the money. Ken, do you know anything about that?
What I know is my daughter went down on Thursday. The line when she got down near the site, the line to get through security was over 5 hours before she got into the park. They were going through everything and all sorts of stuff like that, a lot of questions. There had been a little rain, but not a lot. But supposedly on the backside somewhere, there was supposedly flooding going on. And she saw All-American Rejects or something like that. Insane Clown Posse, Thursday night. And then next morning they were done. And they told them to leave the site. There's a lot of questions going on about it. They offered a 75% refund, and then people complained, and they basically handed them there was a discussion about whether to have tickets for next year, and they basically said, no, we'll do a 100% refund, and that's it. There's a lot of questions, the rumors about whether they were looking for, illegal things like if somebody's going to try and hit the site as far as a
terrorism
site. Yep. So nobody really knows, but they got to decide what they want to do. I figure
they haven't answered. They haven't offered any new dates. They gave up to 100% refunds, and then they said, hey, we don't know what we're going to do next.
Live Nation owns the property. They could have done drainage things in that area. But who knows, they could do anything on the site, but I don't know if it'll ever come back again.
Well, anyway, how long was that festival going for? That was like one of the grandpappies of the festival.
It was the early 2000s. I did the first festival on that site in 98 or 99 called Ichiku Fest. And it was underfunded. Well, it was funded there to a point, but it wasn't promoted right and stuff there, and it kind of lost money. So that was the only year it happened. And then a couple years later, the farmer made a deal with Ashley Capps at AC Entertainment, and they started into Bonnaroo.
Okay. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You got some news right here. One other thing that before you came in the room, I mentioned that Live Nation is building a venue in Nashville. I don't know if you know that, but they're going to be spending over $1 billion on 18 new venues, and one of them is going to be in your market. So just FYI, word to the wise.
They already have a big headquarters down in not the nation's, down off of 4th Avenue South in that area. They got a really nice facility. They're going to build something. AEG is got the Pinnacle Theater that they're doing. It's over by, in the Nashville Yards, which is right off Broadway in like 12th. And they also have corporate headquarters in the office building. And strangely enough, on the same floor, you're going to have the corporate headquarters for L Acoustics right next to AEG.
Wow, that's going to be pretty interesting. That's going to be a complex of where they're going to consolidate a lot of that entertainment industry.
Well, you also have right now in that area, I believe it's Apple Music has a studios in place around in that area. Amazon is somewhere downtown, and what's the satellite company, whatever they have on 4th Avenue above the old is part of the Jimmy Buffett theater upstairs. They have studios and stuff out of there too.
Right. And didn't Rock Lidditz open a Nashville office?
Rock Lidditz will be open. Claire is moving in the 1st of November. Soundcheck will move over on the 1st of December.
So Soundcheck is moving from their location over to this Rock Lidditz.
That's what started this whole thing, because they have to
Yes.
be in the building because Oracle is taking over that whole East Bank development there where they are.
Wow. Big money, big money, big money. And speaking of big money, big money, big money, and the same token, have you heard anything about the new solid state logic Oracle board, the analog console that they've just announced?
I've
Is
heard about the
anybody in the room?
presentation. I've heard about the presentation in New York, but I have not got to touch it yet. I hope they're gonna come to East Coast and present it. But from what I started to reading about it, it sounds promising, but I have no info yet other than that.
Yeah,
But
I
they
read
are
about it in
showcasing it.
ProSound Web. Let's see. It offers large format features in an AWS size footprint with complete recall of all processing, routing gain, pan settings provided by the company's proprietary new active analog technology. It looks really cool. I mean, the board looks really cool. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll throw that in the chat for you guys to look at. So,
what's the difference between that and the Origins? Didn't they have an Origin that was an analog studio board? Is this a studio, or is this a broadcast, or is this a live?
well, it's an analog board, so I would just, if it was analog, I'm guessing that there's no reason for an analog recording studio board.
Well,
But let me see what it says here really quickly.
they've been selling a bunch of them in town the past couple of years, the Origins, and they also own Harrison, and Harrison, right before they were bought, came out with their monster, analog that comes out Dante console. So they got a lot of analog choices coming up.
No, I don't think it's a studio board. It's got a small footprint. It's got 112 inputs. It mixed down 4 stereo mix buses, 16 track buses, 10 aux buses, 16 flex groups, and so I think it's more of a live console than it is a recording studio.
No, they're right in the blurb. It says between mixing or tracking setup. So it's not, I don't think it's meant for live.
They're still trying to make the 650 go, and it's kind of, some people take it and some people won't because it doesn't have enough in and out on the back of it compared to the 550.
Right. Anyway, just thought I'd bring that up. Well, anybody follow the basketball the NBA this year? Oklahoma City Thunders. I don't even know who they played,
Indiana.
I'm more interested in WWE women's basketball.
I'm more interested in F1 racing. What's going on about that now?
Well, the movie comes out tomorrow.
I've already seen it. Go see it. Just go. See it in IMAX, though.
I was gonna say, it's in IMAX, right?
Yeah.
Now, how were you able to see it before it came out?
I went to the Tampa premiere.
Congratulations.
Last Saturday night.
He had eye surgery, so now he can see things before other people.
He's clairvoyant.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That gate is going to fail on the 3rd song in Bend. Nope.
That's very funny.
So,
an
at
inside
any
joke
rate,
for those people who use gates when they mix. Okay, guys.
but at any rate, I know David mentioned before he chooses going to Dolby versus IMAX. This is not one of those films to do that. Do it the other way around. Yeah,
What do you mean by that? Do it the other way around.
Choose IMAX choose the visual part over over Dolby Atmos audio quality.
Right. So if you get a choice to see it if you get a chance to see it in IMAX, go see it in IMAX. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it is stunning.
F1 movie and the new what's his name?
Tom Cruise.
Oh, that one.
Tom Cruise. Yeah, that one's supposed to be in IMAX as well.
Yeah, it is.
Tom Cruise has got a new movie out, other than Mission Impossible.
That's what he was talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Is the new Mission Impossible is supposedly in IMAX as well as regular theaters.
Yeah, I hear that he shot it in 70 millimeter. I heard that he shot, and so that's pretty impressive. It costs a lot more money to shoot something in 70 millimeter. And going back to the F1, somebody recommended that I go to the F1 paddock here in Las Vegas, and I looked at it, and it seems pretty cool. And I'm actually thinking about doing it, even though Bo was not really totally excited about doing that. I figure, hey, it's something that I'll do, and she'll come along with me for me, and I'm sure we'll get some good pictures.
So when I'm out there next month, can we go there and go kart racing?
Yes, yes, yes. When are you coming out?
I'll be there the 11th and 12th of July.
I'll be here. I'll put it in my calendar.
You need to probably go kart racing.
Good. I'll talk to you about it. I mean, that gives me an excuse too, as well, to get on, because whenever I have a chance to go with friends, she's very supportive of me in that.
Is that what that F1 thing is? That's a go-kart track?
There's a golf
cart. That's one of the things. They have a.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I drove by it on the way to the Sphere, and I was like, wow, what's this? Is this like the start line for the race that they do through the streets, or what was it?
Well, that's where I think that's the paddock, right?
Yeah,
where they prepare the cars.
Yeah, that's start finish line and where all the pits are. But they also have the back of it. Since they take down the stands, they have go-kart racing in that area too.
Yeah, it's very experience.
Cool. Yeah, it's the F1 experience. Yes, I mean, there's a lot to do in Las Vegas other than baking the heat.
Well, I might have to come back up to see The Wizard of Oz and do go-kart racing.
Now, I've heard about that. I just saw a special on The Wizard of Oz on what they've done. So it's actually the real movie that they have thrown through artificial intelligence, and to get it to fit into the format of IMAX, they've had to do things like extend people's arms, things like that.
No, the way they told me was they just went in and used AI to get the voices out, and then they completely redone the movie in the IMAX format, or in the Sphere format.
Right, because IMAX is not. What is it?
I read that they have
40K video. Stuff. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ken.
They have environmental stuff too, like the poppy seeds and smoke and all that type stuff.
Right. Well, that's what the Sphere does. With the seat shakers and the smell-o-vision and all this stuff, all those 4D rides that you see across the country. The Sphere supposedly can do all that.
The one I want to know is, are they going to do a late night version with Dark Side of the Moon starting when the?
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, and marijuana is legal in Las Vegas. That's it. Marijuana is legal here.
Yeah, but not in the Sphere, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think. The no bag policy.
Well, if you're going to go see Pink Floyd at midnight, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of fucked up people there, and at midnight they'll probably be drinking early, and then they're probably, but somehow, I mean, with vaping, it's hard, you can't even smell the vape. So what else is going on? Anybody have anything else they want to say, or should we say goodnight to the public? I'm just like not myself today. This food poisoning has really taken its toll on me.
Did you eat shrimp again in the desert?
No, I had cayenne pepper that I didn't realize how much cayenne pepper I was eating. It was too much.
No, years ago, you got food poisoning from eating shrimp in the desert. And I said, your rabbi wasn't there to help you, was he?
No, the worst case of food poisoning I ever had was from eating shrimp in the desert. I'd gone to a deli, had a shrimp salad, and that night, boy, did I get sick. I did not know this, but do you know that the CIA uses the extract of seafood for their poisoning? That's what they use. At least that's what I heard. I don't know. I've never been experienced being tortured by the CIA, so I don't know. And I hope I never have to.
We've been having ticks real bad this spring, and there's a warning out because there's ticks now that carry some sort of, I can't remember what they call it, his name, but basically it makes you allergic to hoofed products, like any milk, meats, red meat, stuff like that of a hoofed animal.
Not Lyme disease, is it?
No, it's not Lyme disease. Lyme disease is still a mess too, but this is another one.
Yeah, my understanding is once you get Lyme disease, you've got it for the rest of your life.
Yep, and you got to figure out how to cope with it.
Wow.
So, I mean, AI is on its way. I just read an article about AI and the fountain of youth, that they are basically have figured out a way using AI to reverse the aging of cells. And basically what that would mean is that if you injured a cell, they would be able to, using AI, to regenerate that cell back to its period before it was damaged. That means they can take anything and part of your body and revert it back to when it was that. Then I guess that they could give everybody, anybody who's got gray hair, all of a sudden you could have your original color back. The Fountain of Youth. Has anybody seen that movie on Apple, Fountain of Youth? Well, there you go. All right, who's got something they want to say, and then we'll say goodbye to everybody.
So the other question, too, we're talking about movies. Next week is the re-release of Spinal Tap.
Well, that was the other question. There it is. I wonder if it's just me or no, everybody's frozen, so I'm out of it.
No, you're frozen. We're fine.
And then, so we got Spinal Tap next week, and then the first week of September is Spinal Tap 2 release.
Oh, right. That's going to be the next movie, I see.
Don't you need to refresh with Spinal Tap 1 first?
I have it on DVD with the extended scenes. Funny thing about that, Ken, is that the live concert stuff was shot at the theater in Pasadena. I forget the name of the theater in Pasadena, but it was shot at night. And this is in 1983, maybe. And during the day, Gary Newman was rehearsing in that theater, rehearsing his show for his Assassin tour. But at 5 o'clock, we had to tear down all the gear, and then Electrotech came in and brought in all their gear. They filmed all night. 5 a.m. they struck it, and then at 6 o'clock we came in and put up all our gear. That went on for 10 days straight.
Did you have the experience of meeting Ricky Farr and putting up with him?
No. Everybody went, after the first day, everybody, was burned out coming in and loading out. So, nobody was talking to one another at all. So, but that was such a good band. Pino Palladino on fretless bass and Chris Slade on drums. Wonderful. So, anyway.
Greg, you've seen about 1 million shows, maybe more. What would you say the highlight? I mean, I would love to go around the room and what you think of all the shows that you've ever seen. What's the show that really stands out in your mind right now? If I
Live
would
Aid
say,
Wembley.
pick one show,
Live Aid,
whether
old
you worked
Wembley.
it or you didn't. Okay, talk about it.
It was just an amazing outdoor show, and it was, David Bowie was absolutely transcendent, and he was on just before, where everybody said it was just before the Queen set, and so those two artists, back to back, with, I believe Madonna was in the middle from Philadelphia on the live broadcast, and then they came back to Queen, and it was just extraordinary. And plus, it was old Wembley, and old Wembley's such a beautiful sounding stadium, or it was. And
Now, were you working it, Greg? Were you working the show, or you were just there?
I was working.
Who were you working with? Who were you working with?
I was an independent engineer for one of the very early bands in the day. So, but Malcolm Hill was there, so of course I helped out. That was a Hill audio show, but I had left Hill at that time. But Scarf was there, everybody was there. So, yeah. But it was
very cool. Excellent.
Yeah, I have to go to work soon, so let me tell you my story.
Tell us.
Best show that I ever saw. There were so many, but it was Santana at Woodstock. That's the one that just blew everybody away because we had never even heard of them before. And if you saw the movie, you saw how intense Soul Sacrifice was. And that's the one that really changed me. I mean, I just fell in love with that band.
Wow, very, very cool.
There are others, Allman Brothers closing down the Fillmore East. I mean, there were just lots of shows over the years.
Yeah.
But Santana's the one that really blew us. I have to go.
Good, Dave.
Goodbye, everybody.
Have a good show, man.
Have a
Talk
good
to you
show.
soon. Thanks
Say
for
hi to
coming.
the lads.
Have a great week, David.
Adios.
So, Wayne, what about you? Any show stands out in your mind? Well, let's go, Wayne Sims from Australia. Let's hear about what the number one show in your mind that stands out.
I know you want us to pick one, but I don't think I could pick because I've seen too many good ones. I couldn't pick one. Just if I could probably go right back, I really enjoyed a band called Mondo Rock.
Now, Wayne, I just want to refresh your memory. You remember that story you told me about, and it doesn't have to be a music show, but I remember you told me about these two fangirls that came over to your house, the fan dancers.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, no, that was my house. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Okay.
I've seen many great shows. I couldn't pick one. There's just too many good ones.
Right.
For me, I couldn't pick one. I did enjoy America when they came out because they came here, and I enjoyed. There's just too many. I'm going back to early like 80s stuff, and Richard Clapton, he was fantastic. That was a great show. Matt Finish. I don't know if you've ever heard of Matt Finish. It was the first time they did a room that held about 1,500 people, and they did it in quadraphonic, so 4 stacks in the room, and that was that was the first time I'd ever seen that done. That was a touring plant PA, and that was going back to the early 80s too. That was impressive though, and that had a TAC console, and they were a great band. The band was great, and the whole thing. But I'm only talking about shows where there's 1,000 to 2,000 people. But I've seen my personal thing. I've seen lots of great. I really can't pick just so many good ones. Jimmy Barnes shows, or there's just so many. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen a lot of the bigger ones though. Like when I say bigger, I don't mean that as like. I mean it as sort of like at a bigger venue. But I'm 500 k's from big, huge venues.
Well, it's kind of interesting because you're down, you're not in one of the major markets of where the big concerts come to. Wayne, what about you? Wayne Pierce, what about you? Is there anything that you've ever that stands out in your mind? I've got quite a few.
Well, yeah, I'll try to pick out a couple ones. One, for mixing, when I mixed Maynard at the Playboy Jazz Festival at the Hollywood Bowl, that was a pretty good day. That was a McCune system. I can't remember what they called it. It was like SM10. Oh, it was a gigantic speaker. It was like 8 feet tall and 15 feet wide. I don't know, some ridiculous
Jan 10s?
huge speaker. JM10 maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
This is 1982. So and Musical Reality, at the end of that tour, we were playing an outdoor jazz festival in Jacksonville, Florida, in what was the parking lot of the Gator Bowl. So about 50,000 people there. And then the band we got laid off. So 2 weeks later, I was in a club in Long Beach and there was about 5 people there. Like, what the hell happened? Went from 40,000 to 5. And then the one that sticks out in terms of seeing, I used to go see a lot of shows when I was a kid. I got to see Hendrix and Zeppelin and all that kind of stuff. But in 2009, my wife and I went and saw Eric Clapton and Steve Winwood at the Hollywood Bowl. Again, the Hollywood Bowl. And it was just a fantastic evening. A friend of mine that worked at the hotel down the street hooked us up with a great room for cost and walked up to the bowl. And that was a fantastic evening. That was a great tour. That was the Live in Madison Square Garden was the album that they released. And that was the tour that went with that. And that was pretty spectacular. So, but
I'm pretty sure I was there too at the Hollywood Bowl for Eric Clapton and Stephen. That was a good show, if I remember correctly.
Very good. But I've worked a lot of shows and, I kind of missed arena rock. So a lot of these guys have much better arena rock stories than I do, but it used to do a lot of one-off taste of, Newport and smooth jazz things and that kind of stuff. So, but those are the ones that kind of stick out.
Got a lot of bands that stick out in my mind. Aerosmith playing when I was the production manager at the House of Blues. Aerosmith played there for a 700 seat theater, and they just blew the roof off the place. It was an amazing show for 700 people. It was phenomenal. And then, of course, one of my first big shows that I got to see was The Who at Boston Garden, and that was an amazing show for me. And the Grateful Dead at Winterland one New Year's Eve. My God, I don't know if that was a great show. I was just really high. Don't remember, but whatever it was phenomenal.
The answer is yes.
Then of course, then of course Pink Floyd, The Wall. In Los Angeles. That was an amazing show, how they did that. And then, of course, there's Queen at the Forum, which was an amazing show. I mean, they were really, 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 really good. So, yeah, I've seen a lot of good shows. What about you, Kurt?
Well, as far as something I didn't expect to like as much as I did would be when I saw Yes on 90125 tour. I was familiar with them, but kind of just went because my friends were going and was absolutely mesmerized by it. The show probably that stands out the most would have to be The Dead at Cal Expo, Sacramento, when I got invited to hang out up there with Healy and Bill Graham and everybody. So, I mean, I went from mixing clubs to standing right next to Dan Healy and Don Pearson for the whole show. So it's kind of hard for that not to be the big one for me.
Yeah, cool. Very, very cool.
On the Yes tour, is that the one where they used the Meyer and they had the Meyer subs? They had to stack them like 14 or 16 high, stacked on top of each other, one motor point on each side of the stage in a vertical base array?
Well, the Dead did that all the time. They had modified them with straps on the sides, and they put pickup points on. So they would stack it as a vertical line array, 650s, I don't know that I remember Yes doing that, but that was a staple of Don Pearson's.
Well, I saw that
design.
in Arena here in town.
Yeah, they might have been doing the same thing, but the Dead definitely did it with the MSL3 and 650 rig.
Anyway, we're gonna have to go offline, so let's call it quits for today, and we'll come back again next week. Thanks for joining us at Thinking Out Loud with Friends of SoundBroker. Remember, you make it happen. Everything you heard today was an opinion. We'll be back next Wednesday at 4:45, so come and join us. And if you want to be on the panel, just DM any one of us, and we'll send you the link. Or make sure you give us the thumbs up, the like, and share the show. So thanks for watching, and remember, you make it happen. Have a great week.